Hello everyone, Phoenix Knight here. Welcome to the channel. As you can see, I've gotten a pair of deliveries in today as I was coming home from work. So we're going to go ahead, crack both of these open on the channel. First up, we're going to start with this small... Hang on. I just realized something, so bear with me just a second. Sorry about that. As I was saying, got a pair of deliveries in, so we're going to crack them open, and we're going to start with this flat rate mailer on top. Didn't realize that the visual on the camera had frozen on me, so now we can get this big box out of shot. Easy does it. Holy cow, that is heavy. And we've got a flat rate priority mailer here. This is actually from a gentleman off of Board Game Geek. This is a game that kind of started catching my eye a little bit. Looks interesting, so I figured I'd grab it. So we'll crack this open and see what we've got in here. You guys know my feelings on these priority mailers if you've been around for a while. And evening, Jay, you are just in time to watch me cuss and swear with this priority mailer, because it is very firmly sealed. There we go. And we've got packing peanuts. Fortunately, I have a garbage can that I can throw those right into until we get to what's actually in here. Okay. So we're getting it out. There we are. Easy does it. Trying to make sure I lift the peanuts out. The peanuts are going to go in the garbage. The mailer, along with the extra bubble wrap void fill in here, is going to get thrown to the side. The mailer is now going to move out of my way. And we're finally going to see what we've got in here. So what we've got here is actually a new and shrink copy. Let me tip the camera down just a touch now that we don't have the big box in shot. Of Lanzerath Ridge, Battle of the Bulge by DVG. Now, my history with DVG is a little bit interesting. So, I think it was last year, I had a bunch of the Leader Series games, and I ended up going nuclear on DVG. But things have changed a little bit because I've started using ChatGPT. I've programmed it a little bit more as a board game recommendation engine for me. So I wanted to start exploring some more of the... Maybe Hex Encounter is probably the best way to put that. Hex Encounter games that have a more of a narrative focus to them, because I'm very much a narrative first gamer, especially with how much time I spend in the Arkham Horror files every year, and all the other the other Greg Smith, Thomas Van Hare designs that I get into. Also, this War of Mine, Nemo's War, that recently just landed as being a hit on the channel. So I wanted to explore that. And I figured I kind of went, isn't this the same system as Pavel's House? I think you might be thinking of Pavlov's House, possibly. And yes, it is from the Valiant Defense system. I've actually never played Pavlov's House. This is my first game in that system. But let's take a look in here. Let's take a look at the back of the box, at least. The Battle of Lanzerath Ridge was fought on December 16th, 1944, the first day of the Battle of the Bulge, near the village of Lanzerath, Belgium, along a key route for the German advance. The American defenders consisted of 18 men from the 394th Infantry Regiment's Intelligence and Reconnaissance Platoon and 4 forward artillery observers. They fought against a German battalion of about 500 paratroopers and another 50 German soldiers from a Fusilier regiment. During a day-long confrontation, the Americans inflicted dozens of casualties on the Germans and delayed the advance of the entire 1st SS Panzer Division, the spearhead of the German 6th Panzer Army. In Lanzerath Ridge, you take control of the American defenders. Under your command, the defenders must fend off relentless attacks from German paratroopers and Fusiliers. Your goal is to recreate the incredible historic accomplishment by defending the key roads in the town and delaying the advance of an SS Panzer Division. In the game, this accomplishment is represented by playing through 4 waves of German attackers. You must maintain morale, report critical intelligence, accomplish special objectives, and hold your position at all costs. Definitely definitely feels fairly heavy. We'll crack this open at a later date, probably later this week, and see what's all in here. As I was saying about my relationship with DVG, though, last year I kind of went nuclear on my DVG collection, but as I've been programming ChatGPT as a board game recommendation engine for me, it's actually been throwing me a lot of DVG games, especially as being the narrative forward gamer that I am. So this is the first of those that I've picked up, but it is not the last that we're going to see even in this unboxing. So like I said, we'll probably dig deeper into this a little bit later this week and see what's all in here. That might be... Actually, Thursday could be a good night for an unboxing night, because Thursday I normally do laundry, but I could very easily do a bunch of short videos and pause as I need to. Probably a lot easier to do that than during a replay. But we can get Lanzerath Ridge out of shot for a deeper unboxing later. And I'll bring in this much heavier box, which this is coming in. We'll tip the camera up here. This actually is coming in from Noble Knight Games, which is a couple hours away from where I live. I actually placed this order yesterday, and it's already here, so I'm very impressed with Noble Knight on that. But let's crack this open and see what we've got in here. This is in a style of box that I'm not completely warm to. It's kind of the weird... It's the weird way it's... Well, how do I want to describe this? It's a very weird way that it seals, where normally you've got the two parts of the box that close in on each other, but this is essentially two flaps, if that makes sense. It'll probably make more sense once I actually get this open. Okay. We'll work our way around here, see if I can find a way. We'll get that little piece of tape off. I apologize that my arm is in shot here, but I'm going to need it in shot. There we go. So see what I'm talking about with the kind of the weirder box style on this one, where it's got the two flaps? That's what we're looking at here. Okay, we can close the knife. Actually, let's not close the knife yet, just in case there's void fill that I need to cut. First thing we're greeted by is our void fill, which is a bunch of sealed air bubble. And then we're greeted by the advertisement on the first trade with Noble Knight. This won't be my first trade, but the first thing we're greeted by in here, I'm going to put these to the side for a second because it'll make more sense once we pull this up. We are greeted by Folklore the Affliction, a new and shrink copy by Greenbrier Games. You can see the seal of excellence from the Dice Tower down here, and it's the anniversary edition. It feels like it's pretty meaty in here. There's a lot in here. You move carefully through the stone hallway, lit only by a patch of moonlight and the smoldering stump of a torch in your hand. Sweat drips from your forehead. If you make a sound, it could be your last. Somewhere in this estate hides a creature who is neither living nor dead, who drinks the cherry blood of his guests, and whose gaze warps the mind of all who meet it. Sounds like a vampire to me. You clutch the wooden spike tightly to your chest, your pounding heart daring you to drop it. Finally, you find the door that leads to the master bedroom. You hold your breath, savoring it as you reach for the cold iron knob. Folklore the Affliction is an adventure board game for 1 to 5 players, in which your characters progress through a series of stories in their quest to rid the land of evil. Every story is broken into chapters, allowing players to control the length of each session. Most chapters take 45 to 60 minutes to complete. Become one of 6 unique characters, increasing in knowledge and skill as you embark on a frightful journey to save the world of folklore from the horrors that plague it. Will you survive the adventure that awaits? Will your courage falter and your friends fail you? Or will you become legends? Open and find out. Features a cooperative campaign requiring no game master, including solo play. 6 stories with multiple paths and endings. Over 13 hours of replayable content. Customize your character with an archetype, focus, and branching paths. Unlock abilities, prayers, and rituals for defeating challenges both in and out of combat. Discover over 100 unique items, equipment, and ancient artifacts to aid in your quest. Beautifully rendered, double-sided terrain maps, 72 highly detailed standees, and hundreds of gorgeous illustrations. And very nice. We'll find out all of what's in here once I crack this open on a separate unboxing later. And the reason I moved a couple items to the side is because they're accessories that are related to that. We've got the Encounter record pad and the Character record pad over here. Also both from Folklore. Saying first edition on here, but presumably those will work with the anniversary edition, which will probably be essentially second edition. And then it's kind of getting a little bit spoilerific in here, but we've got a couple more games from DVG, as you might have guessed. First up, we're going to be greeted by B-17 Flying Fortress Leader, the World War II strategic bombing solitaire game, once again by DVG. Bandits, 12 o'clock high. B-17 Flying Fortress Leader places you in command of the U.S.'s mighty 8th Air Force from 1942 to 1945. Each bomber group and fighter group under your command has individual skills and unique ratings. You get to plan out your strategy to bring down Germany's war-making capability and then resolve each bombing mission deep in enemy territory. B-17 Leader includes 11 historical campaigns, as well as a mini-game where you get to resolve missions for your own bomber through 25 missions. A solo bomber option to determine the fate of one bomber in one of your groups, and Down in Flames solitaire rules so you can resolve your air combats using our Down in Flames card game. Down in Flames required for this one. B-17 Leader is a solitaire game. You command American air groups and make historically accurate decisions, while the built-in game system controls the opposing forces and their strategy. This means you can play the game at your own pace, whenever and wherever you choose. And I definitely like the 30 minutes per mission. That's going to make it very suited for weeknight channel content, possibly in the off-season. We'll put that to the side. And then the last thing we're greeted by, once again, it's probably being spoiled here a little bit. We're being greeted by another Leader game, Thunderbolt Apache Leader by DVG, the close air support solitaire strategy game. These were the first two Leader series games that ChatGPT suggested for me. I also have Hornet Leader Carrier Air Operations, which I mostly held on to that in the Purge, in my DVG Purge last year for the Cthulhu conflict. But I definitely like the idea of the narrative aspects of the Leader series. So let's take a look at the back here. Warthog 233 rolling in. Thunderbolt Apache Leader places you in command of a close air support squadron in a modern air campaign. Each pilot under your command has individual skills, and each aircraft has individual ratings. You select the best mix of pilots, aircraft, and munitions for each mission. Even with the best aircraft and weapons ever developed for close air support, it still requires your command skill to win the war. Thunderbolt Apache Leader includes 8 campaigns: Libya 1984, North Atlantic World War III 1986, Iraq 1991, Israel Defense 2001, Libya 2011, North Korea 2011, Pakistan 2013, and Iran 2014. We won't rattle off all of the aircraft that are included. And similarly, Thunderbolt Apache Leader is also a solitaire game. You command close air support aircraft and make historically accurate decisions, while the built-in game system generates the missions and controls the opposing forces. This means you can play the game at your own pace, whenever and wherever you choose. And Jay's spent countless hours on Thunderbolt Apache Leader. Still one of my favorite games. Actually got Dan Verson to name a pilot after you. Call sign Gumby. Nice. Maybe we'll have to take him out when I finally get Thunderbolt Apache Leader to the channel. But the most important thing here is once I get this out of the way, we'll bring everything back in. Just so we can spotlight that is quite a haul of new games to the channel. So, like I said, I'll be looking to unbox all of these later this week, but there won't be any unboxings coming tomorrow, because tomorrow, actually, once I get done here, I'm going to be setting up tomorrow night's video of Marvel Champions from Fantasy Flight. Friday, we're going to be playing Western Front Ace by Compass Games. And Saturday, Mystical Munchies will conclude Out of the World of Warcraft, New Flavors of Azeroth cookbook as we make the dessert, Balara's Nutter Bar. Thank you for watching the video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so you get my content, and thanks for the compliment on the haul, Jay. Be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll be back with more videos in the future. Until then, take care, everyone.